Hi, I'm Nag. As Danganronpa 2x2 has been delayed, inevitably, Jesus Christ, that's far away, I thought it would be fun for me to share my predictions on the potential killers and victims for this game. Quick little note that I have not seen any other videos about people predicting this. Everything you see here is my own stupid prediction and my own ideas. So, yeah, buckle in. So, starting off with Chapter 1 and the first killer and victim, it already gets pretty interesting, because usually for Chapter 1s, there is a bit of a pattern, being one unexpected victim and one kind of throwaway killer. Not counting fee-free. But that did get me thinking from what could be a shocking victim and what could impact the story in such a way that the rest of the stuff changes. Well then, do I have an answer for you? Because the first victim that I have is Chiaki Nanami. So, while you think it might be insane to like kill one of the main characters, one of the fan favorite characters, main girl, to kill her off in the first chapter, while you think that might be insane, I have some good reasons behind this. For one, Danganronpa really likes those sneaky little surprise kills. Little surprise victims which you never expect. And my second reason is because she is the traitor. Because Chiaki is the traitor, it would make an absolutely insane twist to have her dead. Reason being, because if Chiaki isn't there, Monami also won't work, meaning Monokuma has full range over everything. And it would also like very much change Nagito in the late game. Because in the late game at least, Nagito was fully obsessed with finding the traitor to the point he killed himself for it. So it would be very interesting to see how the story goes when the entire traitor plot isn't there. Now, as a little segue into the killer, I had quite some trouble making up killers for the reason that the cast for Danganronpa 2 is not the brightest. Reason being that there are a lot of characters who don't really add anything to the story, and I don't think would be smart enough to like actually make up a good murder case. I know they'd like to pull pull strings and make some characters have more complicated murders than they actually should have had. Look at Gundam. What do you mean Chuny Hamster Man did all of this? That aside, I do feel like the murder cases coming up in 2x2 will be more complicated because Danganronpa keeps lengthening up the trials, keep getting longer and longer, more and more complicated. So I think we can like cut anyone a bit of slack when it comes to this. So we're just gonna take the killers. We're not gonna go into like super duper murder plans because that's up to Spike Chunsoft. So anyone can kill anyone and we'll see what happens, okay? So with all that in mind, the first killer that I had who killed Chiaki is Akane Owari. So, main reason I chose Akane as first killer is because she is a survivor of the first game. Second reason is, I don't think Akane can die in any way, aside from execution, because nobody can kill her. That isn't Nekomaru. So that's one problem solved. On top of that, I would think it'd be like a fun little red herring to have what is most likely the stupidest character in the game commit a decent murder case when nobody thinks she can do it. Now, how could Akane possibly do that? And my question is, I have no clue. I have no clue what writing could possibly make it happen, but this is unironically the best choice I could have come up with. And yeah, I'm sticking with it, thanks. Let's move on to the next one. I actually really like Chapter 2 because it means I can be creative. Part of that creativity is having the second victim be Fuyuhiko Kuzuryu. Now, reason for choosing Fuyuhiko as a victim is also because, yes, he was a survivor last time, but also because I want to see the reverse. Because Fuyuhiko got extreme development from Peko being dead. So, what if we take that, switch it around, and have Peko get a lot of development because Fuyuhiko isn't there? So, for the killer, it's a little bit difficult, because this one might be very, very on the nose, but Danganronpa is not known for subtlety, so I thought, as we are switching it around anyway, we might as well switch the killer around too. So, Fuyuhiko's killer is Mahiru Koizumi. Now, on top of the whole Fuyuhiko Peko plot, I was also thinking that Mahiru would be a pretty interesting killer, all things considered. Because I think she's, like, decently smart enough to, like, make a good plan. And on top of that, if Mahiru does end up killing someone, then that would heavily impact Hiyoko. Meaning Hiyoko would get some, apparently, or eventually, some insane character development, which I am dying to see. I don't really have much more about this chapter, because it's just something funny that I wanted to do, like a funny little triangle. So, moving on to... First victim is Teru Teru. Listen, I don't care what you say, this man is lucky to have lived past chapter 2. The main thing I have of Teru Teru is that the preferred jokes just eventually get very, very old. And he adds basically nothing else. He adds absolutely nothing else. And I am not a fan. I'm sorry. And in the mess that is chapter 3, which is like always a double kill, for some reason, I always notice they kill off like joke characters a lot. Like kill off Hifumi, kill off Tenko, kill off Enji, stuff like that. Yeah, I think it's mostly just fine to just slip Hifumi in there. And with that, second victim is Nekomaru Nidai. I have put Nekomaru here mostly, solely because I cannot fit him in anywhere else. I've tried to search, but I really can't find a way to put Nekomaru anywhere else. So, yeah, victim again he is. Also, I think he's way too nice of a guy to actually, like, fully kill someone in a situation that is not a battle to the death. Anyway, chapter 3 killers are quite interesting, because they need to be and psychopathic enough and desperate enough to, like, kill 2 people and get away. Which is hard because no one else really is, whose name isn't Nagito. So, the choice I've made is Sonia Nevermind. Ever since first playing Danganronpa 2, I expected Sonia to be to fully be a killer. And it never happened, she never did anything. So I think giving Sonia something to do in like chapter 3 is something pretty nice. Also because she is probably like very much desperate enough to get out for her country because she is the ultimate princess. And I think she would make some very interesting murders solely for being a serial killer fan. Serial killer fangirl enthusiast. And I am dying to see her execution. Because I think the concept that it could be is very, very cool. Other thing this can bring is actual development for Kazuichi. Because, as I can see at least, Kazuichi's character is fully focused around Sonia. So, having Sonia kill someone and die, sending Kazuichi into like a depression arc, and actually getting him something to do, would be something that's very interesting and nice to see. Same with Gundam, because Gundam is very close to Sonia, or at least around these times. So having Gundam like probably console and bond over it with Kazuichi would be a very nice alternative to what we got in the original game. In any case, every chapter 3 is a hot mess. So I think we just keep the streak going and see where we end up. So, our victim is Kazuichi. So now you might think, Nag, why would you give him all that development and all of that just to kill him off the very next chapter? Well, that's what we do. That's what happens in Danganronpa. Look what happened to Hiyoko. It's the same thing. I think it's like a pretty good message to have him try and get back up, go for his redemption, and then just get killed out of nowhere. Never really getting to achieve what he wanted to. So, with the characters I have left, and everything else I wanted to do, the only real killer I can put here is Ibuki. I know Ibuki is like the pinnacle of joke characters, but I think having her as a chapter 4 killer isn't really too strange of a choice. Because she's quite unexpected, and she has eventually then actually some use in the story. And everything together, I think her and Kazuichi having a trial like connected together is really not too strange, because both are like pretty big joke characters and not the smartest. So I think having like Ibuki accidentally kill Kazuichi or something like that in a fight or something, I think that would maybe work. It's a real big stretch, especially because chapter 4 is usually like a very complicated trial, and I don't know if Ibuki can set that up. But we'll try. We'll see what happens. I think something like this is a pretty nice outcome. This one doesn't really tie too much into other characters like last chapters. I think most of this does is like give a bit more redemption to Gundam, or redemption development. Give something to Gundam, because now we've lost Sonya and Kazuichi. And maybe, if it pans out like that, Ibuki might have some impact on like Hiyoko and Mika. Maybe that. But I'm also just guessing stuff right now. I think we move on to like the big spice, which is chapter 5. So, this is where I really went a bit nuts with my stuff. Because my my chapter 5 victim is it's Hajime Hinata. Now, we've had a protagonist who is a killer. Now, what if we had a protagonist that is a victim? Jokes aside though, I think getting Hinata, or getting Hajime, as a victim is probably the biggest twist they could do for the game. It is probably by far the biggest twist. I don't know how this will play out with the Izuru plot, with Izuru Kamakura. I don't know about that, but I think this is way too good of an opportunity to pass up. So we're rolling with it and thinking about the consequences later. As for the killer on this, I have gone with Byakuya Tokumi / Ultimate Imposter. Main reason for this is because, yeah, we needed a twist. We needed a twist killer. And I think this one works very well, at least in context a little, because I can see the Ultimate Imposter with Byakuya's personality, like, absolutely crumbling over seeing everyone die he's trying to protect. So I think that maybe in an attempt to protect them from the despair, he's trying to kill all of them, so they will never feel that despair, while he has gone insane. As for how to kill Hajime while we're playing as him, I have no clue. I have no clue, really. We'll find it out. We'll figure out a way. Anyway, though, for new protagonist, I think that, like, the only actual option here is Nagito. Getting Nagito to actually play the new protagonist would be pretty funny, because he is, like, the fan favorite character. And also, like, one of my favorite characters, so I wouldn't complain. But on top of that, I think it'd be very nice to have, like, a little anti-hero villain, or anti-hero protagonist, who is both good and evil and chaotic at the same time. I would love that. I would actually quite like that. But that is my personal opinion on that. So, with all the main chapters where people die out of the way, we end up with our survivors being Nagito, Hiyoko, Peko, Gundam, and Mikan. So, I've talked about all of these characters and their full development that they should get and probably will get if this happens. Only one I have not talked about is Mikan. And reason is that I'm fully biased. I'm extremely biased. Mikan is my favorite character, and she will just not die. She won't die. She just won't die, no. If she dies, I will cry, and will throw a tantrum, and I will kill everything. So yeah, Mikan just won't die. Easy as that. In any case, though, I think that is it for this video. I have shared all I needed to. I have speculated my brain off. I have sat here till 4 AM recording this shit. So, if you sat through this, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it a lot. If you want, like, subscribe, all of that. Leave a comment with suggestions or your own opinions, stuff like that. I stream a lot. I've been streaming more lately. I'm making more videos right now. So who knows what'll happen. In any case, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!